Hey, welcome to my mayor's message for 2022. Happy New Year. I'm Mayor Ron Jensen. This month, we're recording in our TV studio across the street rather than in my office because last month, I was still locked up. I had my jaw wired shut. I'd lost 15 pounds and I asked Chief Sessions to come help me. Well, I didn't want my good friend Chief Fight to get upset with me, so I've invited them both here today. We'll get them on here in a little bit. They'll both be talking about their goals and some things that are going on in their departments. But before we get to that, I have some exciting news to share. After having to be postponed last year due to COVID, I am having my State of the City on Thursday, March 3rd at the Ruthie Jackson Center. The Chamber of Commerce will start selling tickets February 1st, and I hope you'll join me. I'm excited to recap the city's growth this past year and share with you future plans, at least some of the plans I can share. Tickets and information can be found online at grandprairiechamber.org. The big event is coming back. Join us Saturday, March 26th for a day full of unity and volunteerism around the city. Volunteers are matched with qualifying service projects which may include raking leaves, hauling debris, weeding, planting flowers, mulching, spring cleaning, and litter patrol. I didn't see anything on there I'm qualified for. I just may drive around and tell everybody hi. Job requests and volunteer applications are being accepted now through March 1st. You can find all the information online at gptx.org/big event. I'd like to thank Councilmember Georgia Clemson for bringing this to our attention. She got it from her grandson down at Texas A&M. They are the ones that started this. We are the first city to do it. Colleges do it around the U.S., but we're the first city to ever bring it as part of a city project. Right before the year end, the first restaurant at Epic Central opened. Folks, if you haven't been out to Chicken and Pickle, you have to. Some people think it's chicken with pickles. Well, you can get some pickles with the chicken, but it's really chicken and pickleball. The space is amazing and their food is delicious. It's a fun, family-friendly atmosphere that everyone can enjoy. Chicken and Pickle is one of 6 restaurants opening at Epic Central. In addition to the restaurants, we will have 2 connecting hotels with a shared conference center, a parking garage, and a water light show on the lakes, as well as interactive technology experiences on the land. You can learn more about Epic Central online at gptx.org. Speaking of new development, a Hobby Lobby store is coming to Grand Prairie next to Kohl's. Folks, I post about all the openings. Hobby Lobby got more likes and comments than anything I've ever posted. Until I post something else is coming soon, you have to stay tuned for that. This store is expected to open by the end of the year. Last night during council, we approved Lucky's Hot Chicken. It's Memphis hot chicken. We don't have a hot chicken. I'm not talking about hot out of the grease. I'm talking about Memphis or Nashville style hot chicken. You need to Google and see what that is. We're getting a Lucky's Hot Chicken right next to Twin Peaks. Also, right there at that location, Dutch Brothers Coffee is going in. Lastly, as you've probably heard by now, COVID cases are continuing to rise across the country. Folks, I know you're tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm going to things, but I've had all my vaccines. I've had my booster. I'm still careful, but you got to still be careful. They think we're going to peak out sometime this month and then hopefully nosedive and get back to some normalcy. But during that time, you need to be careful. Wear your mask if you're unvaccinated. Wear your mask if you're vaccinated in places that it's very crowded. Our number one priority is for people to be safe, and we urge you when you're in city buildings to wear a mask. We will continue to monitor cases and make changes to any upcoming events as necessary. For the latest updates, testing information, vaccine locations, please visit our website at gptx.org/COVID-19. Now my 2 guests that are here. So I've invited Chief Fight and Chief Sessions today so we can chat a little bit. So first off, I want to go to Chief Fight and let him talk to us a little bit about something that's dear to my heart. And Chief, let's just go ahead and talk about cancer among firefighters and what this month means to the firefighters.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you for having me. And yes, I really was offended last month. I mean, the rookie police chief. And
yeah, and you've been here forever.
I've been here 10 years, going on 10 years. And, you know, I was like, all right, I get it. The new pretty boy in town. But thank you for the cancer lead off. January is Firefighter Cancer Month awareness. And, you know, since I've been your chief for about the last 10 years, we've had 2 firefighters die of cancer. We've had dozens have cancer. And what we finally know, and it took generations to finally figure this out, it's not that we're breathing the smoke in. It's we're absorbing the smoke through our skin. We never knew that. We always thought our gear protected us. But what we did know is that pressurized smoke gets in our gear, we absorb it, gets into our kidneys, and years of that puts us at risk. And so just being a firefighter, just choosing this profession adds about a 10% additional risk to cancer. Well, everybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, you're already at about a 20 to 22% risk. So you add 10% on top of being a firefighter, you know, that's a third of us will fight cancer sometime in our career. So we're leading the charge in Grand Prairie on cancer prevention protocols and some of our safety protocols, but it is a huge deal for our profession. You know, we're not dying in buildings, we're not dying in other things. We're getting cancer. And so we're trying to make a difference. And I'm hoping as generations move forward, the bravado of the dirty gear and having the dirty, smoky look, that's gone. And we're making strides.
Yeah, I understand we have cleaning things at every fire station. You have 2 sets of gear now that you used to not have. Yep. Walk us through that just real briefly.
Yeah, we do have 2 sets of gear. So let's just take a routine fire. The firefighters go in, they get exposed, their gear is dirty. We're actually putting that gear in a plastic bag and sealing it. We're not touching it ever again with our hands. We go back to the station, we immediately shower, get all the contamination off of our skin, and we have a second set of gear. Clean, ready to go, and we get that second set of gear and just move on to the next call while we clean that dirty gear. And then, like you said, every fire station has what we call an extractor, which is a technology-driven huge washing machine that is specially designed for our gear. And that's just one of many things, but that is the key element, is getting that dirty gear off of us.
Okay, I'll come back to you, but on some other things. But before I go to the session, I want to tell you how proud I am of you in taking the leadership role in this. And we've talked about it many times, and I had no idea this was an issue until you brought it to my attention.
Well, you and the council have been so supportive, and you've been very open-minded on it too. You've enjoyed the sessions we've had, and you've really taken an active interest. So our firefighters know you do care. We appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
You bet.
Session, I mean, you were with me last month, but I want the citizens to kind of get an overview of, let's just talk about where we are with the crime.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you again for having me on the show. I'm sorry that you got bullied and felt guilty in having to bring Robert. As we all know, he has a face for radio, and I thought he was going to be getting cats out of trees this morning. So but glad that he's here, and I love you, Robert. Crime's down quite a bit. We are down almost another 10% this year. That's over the 8% last year. I'm very, very proud of our officers. They are policing our community at a time where it is very difficult with COVID and a whole host of other things, and they are not taking their foot off the gas pedal. So they're doing very, very well. They're leveraging some technology that's now available. We're using evidence-based policing strategies. And then, of course, we're continuing our community policing strategy and building community trust. It's been very, very effective. And I'm sure at some point the pendulum will start to swing, but right now we are just riding a tidal wave of good news as it relates to our crime rate.
Well, I'm confident, seeing how hard y'all work and the new recruits. I just met the new recruits, that even when the pendulum swings, we will stay ahead of our peers around our area.
I have no doubt about that, Mayor. In fact, we are recruiting the best and brightest from all over the United States. We have officers in our academy right now that came in from the East Coast, the West Coast, and the Midwest, everywhere across the country. They're hearing about Grand Prairie Police Department. They want to be a part of what we're doing here, and it's something very exciting. It's a good time to be a Grand Prairie police officer.
Well, thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Chief Fight, let's talk a little bit about the new change this year on the shifts.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the word recruiting. So this is part of a recruiting process for us. We went away from a traditional 24/48 firefighter schedule that I think we've been doing since the early 60s, I found out. And we have migrated to what we're calling the 48/96 schedule, which means our firefighters, your firefighters, will be here 48 straight hours and then off for 96 or 4 days. This is becoming a nationwide trend that is coming from our west and sweeping across the country. And now it's at Texas. And so we're going to use this and leverage our new schedule that our firefighters voted in on themselves. I had some hesitation because if it's not broke, why are we fixing it? But the firefighters wanted it. It was a 74% vote.
Wow.
And, you know, to get a firefighter group to vote anything at 74%, how do you ignore that?
Right.
So we're going to try it for a year, reevaluate it, make sure there's no loopholes we're missing, revote, and think about 2023 where we head. But it is a very popular schedule with firefighters to have those 4 days off to rest and recover and family and have those core things that we all find important. And so we'll see how it goes.
Well, good. Thanks for that update.
Yeah.
Cecily, in closing with the on the police side, I just met some recruits. How's our recruiting going? Where are we at on that, and how many laterals do we have? Talk a little bit to our citizens about that.
Sure. So I can tell you that it's a very difficult time to recruit in law enforcement today. We're seeing far more lateral police officers coming in than basic officers. That used to be the reverse. The good news is Grand Prairie Police Department is a very desirable police department. So we're attracting the very best and the brightest. And it's not just because of the police department. You know, Robert and I like to joke back and forth, but our brothers in red are very, very supportive. I love Robert like he's my brother. Our council is very supportive. Our citizens are very supportive. So it's a great place to work. And quite honestly, we have officers from all over the country from other departments that are recruiting for us. So we're attracting the best and the brightest, but make no mistake, law enforcement is in a very difficult time right now. And it's not just the police officers, it's the dispatch center, our detention center, and across the board. So we're hanging in, but we have our challenges for sure.
Thank you. In closing, folks, listen, not every city enjoys what we have here in Grand Prairie. Not every city, the fire and police get along. I could tell you stories. Not going to, because I don't want to throw neighboring cities under the fire engine. But we're very fortunate here. We do have departments that get along. They have a healthy camaraderie. But I appreciate these two men and what they do for our city and what they mean to our city. Hope you've enjoyed today, getting to know a little bit more about our chiefs, and also getting a update on what's going on. Until next month, have a great month, and be careful, wear your mask, and please get vaccinated.